Now this is our paddock field. This is just all open, and what we've decided to do is enclose this field, and we've put 77 metres of a Quercus Ilex hedge in. We've still got to finish the bottom of it and clean it up a bit, but at least the hedge is in. This will act as a windbreak. As you can see, it is very windy here. We get southwesterlies and they predominantly come whipping across the nursery, which for our sapling area is not really very conducive to the plants growing in a nice shape. We're always constantly turning them, etc. So our job over the last couple of weeks has been, first thing we did is put the Quercus Ilex in. We then, behind me on the, you'll see there's a tree line behind me, and we've put 37 Suffolk black poplars, which I took cuttings of from a Suffolk black poplar that's on our riverside about 5 years ago, and they're actually 7 foot tall now, so it is a very, very vigorous and fast growing tree. So we put that as a hedgerow in, and we're going to let them grow to their full magnificence. So they will be 50 feet, 60 feet, probably not in my lifetime, but they will get there at some point. And in front of them we put some Salix purpurea pendula. Now this is a purple weeping willow. It goes approximately 3 metres in height, and it will do 6 metres across. It's a beautiful, quite majestic, and it will help filter the wind as it comes through, as well as looking attractive. 2 years ago we planted on the other side of the black poplar a white and a red willow hedge in, and we put a lot of Aces, Sorbus and Prunus on the other side. So there's a good 4 widths of different planting, so hopefully that will stop some of this bitter wind whipping through. Now we haven't decided what we're going to do with planting in the middle of the field, because this is the field we've put sheep on. We will be stock fencing that side of all this Quercus Ilex, stop the sheep nibbling all of these. Now behind me and down the line you will see that we've put in another bank of trees. Now these are Acer Drummondii, Acer Royalty, there's Prunus Flor Pleno, which is a double white cherry, and we put Kanzan. Most people know Kanzan. A lot of the houses in the 70s that were built, 60s, 70s, they thought, oh, it's nice, we'll put a nice cherry tree in for them. And these are the people who've now got cherry trees bigger than the size of the houses. So the area here is really good because it's big enough to take a 40-foot cherry tree. And we've put a couple of white and a couple of the pink flowers of the Prunus in, and the leaves of the Drummondii, which is variegated, and the red of the Royalty. So it'd be quite a nice staggered tree line, and we have staggered it because unless you're doing really beautiful sort of parallel planting, a straight line of trees looks a bit awful actually. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swing you around to here. Now we have some trees on the nursery that we're just getting far too big. We can't manually handle these at the client's end. If the weight on these and just the equipment required to carry them through, and for the price that people will possibly pay, we decided it'd be much better to plant them here. Now what we've got in here is the traditional silver birch. It corks on its trunk, so you get a nice fissures. That's the bits look like lines coming down, and we've staked them very well because this is a big root ball. And as you can see, we've got 5 in, all well staked. Gonna have to pull away some of the soil. We bulked it up just to get them in, and what we'll do is we'll really tidy up this area again when we do the hedge and pull all the excess soil away. Now this area here I'm going to underplant Lutzia. Lutzia is an evergreen, and it's Aurora I'm putting in. It's an evergreen grass. and that means that we use a big cutter on the back of the tractor for cutting this, and it would just be a bit difficult to get in here, so I'm actually going to underplant it, and this will have a magnificent golden colour throughout the winter, quite strong green in the summer, but the roots here will form a mat and we'll not have to weed it either, but they're looking rather magnificent. And in the middle we've put the multi-stem, so quite an attractive planting. Now behind that you will see that there's some British native planting that we planted a year ago, and a year ago we also put in some of the crab apples. So we've got crab apples, we've got sorbus, and they were all put in just to feed the birds. It's really nice that we can put things in that the birds will eat, apart from the fact that Simon feeds masses of birds every morning. This just gives them some natural food. And this field now, it feels completely different. It's an enclosed field. It feels warm. Now you could, if you ended up with a great big open garden, no boundaries, which a lot of people have, you know, then this is one of the ways that you can form a boundary. It's evergreen, slow growing, so it's a strong hedge, but it won't take over. You know, laurel, cut 3 times a year, it's got to be hand cut, can't use a machine. This one can be, and looks absolutely lovely. Really nice thick hedge. Sorry, that's a really chilly icy blast that's just come through. And then this field will have the rest of the stock fencing put in, the same as it's got on the other side, and we'll have the sheep in here. Now, where I showed the Quercus iliacs as an evergreen hedge, that is flat green. On the paddock field it doesn't actually matter, but what I've done here is put a Photinia red robin hedge in. As you can see, again it's evergreen, again it acts as a wind barrier. This is thickening. Now these are only 3-year-old plants, so you can see the height in 3 years, and we've done a double hedge here. So you've got the Photinia, and then behind it you can see the British native hedge. Now that's the hedge that's gone onto the paddock field, and this has been in now for 2 years and is growing really well. We have let them get their own roots down, and we haven't done any extra watering. These went through last summer. They were watered when they were put in, and then after that they've been grown what we call hard. And what that means is, instead of lots of luscious top growth, which lots of water and feed causes, these have been hard grown, so they get lots of roots down to help cope with the wind that we get, and you get a slightly more robust and harder plant. Now I'm going to show you a part of the nursery where the same plants of the same age were put in, but they naturally get a lot more water to the roots because the seepage that comes from the pond goes to where they are. Come and have a look at that and you'll see the difference. Now here you will see this, it's the same Photinia as what I've just shown you. As you can see, lots and lots of luscious top growth. You'll see a tiny little bit of black catching them. That's because we've had the first frost winds. Mid-February we haven't had anything, and these have got a lot of luscious growth because it's been so warm. And when it's warm like this and you get a cold frosty wind, or you get ice sitting, it causes this. Don't worry about it, it won't damage the plant in the long run, but you can see the difference. So from that one, which is my knee, this one is much taller than me. Now this is what we have, a double hedge. Again, we've done this for wind. There's a bank here, and then a staggered bank, you can see me, goes behind, and this is the entrance area to the sitting out area at the coffee shop. So it allows us to get through with equipment, but it does help with stopping that wind coming across the fields. Because the one thing that we have got, even in summer, Suffolk has wind. Lovely, let's go and get a coffee.